folks, and this is week 2 of a weekly vlog that I'm doing. This week I'm going to focus on the useRef hook within React. I've recently come across, I'm learning hooks myself, and I've recently been using the useRef in ways that I wasn't aware that it functioned. So I wanted to kind of go over that. To start with, I'm going to show you, this is what we have. We have a simple component here. Add component has an input where you input and it gets displayed underneath. Very simple. Use state on change, it sets a state, changes the name value. Very simple. Okay. Now, the most common way that the useRef hook is used is to reference a component. Okay. Now, and that's to reference something within the DOM. Okay. So let's start, and I'm going to show you how that's done. Let's start with I'm going to add a button. I'm going to add that when you click it, will focus in on the input line. Okay, so I'm going to start with useRef. I don't need to give it anything. I need to attach that to the input line. So you've got this nice tag you can add to that. It will be focus ref. Very simple. Then I will add a button underneath here. That on, when I click it, will trigger the focus function. All right. All right. We've got to add the focus function. All right. And for starters, we're going to just console.log. All right. The focus ref. Let's just see what happens. All right. So I'm going to click focus ref. And what do we get? We get an object with a current key value and input as the value of that current. So useRef, all right, has created an object with a key current with an object of the input here. Anytime you use ref, it's going to always create an object with current as the key. And what you store in useRef will be under this current key. Okay? All right. So if we want to focus this, all right, what do we want to store in useRef? Okay. Don't need to focus ref. We don't need to console log it. So we're going to focus ref dot current to get to that key, and then we're just going to focus. There we go. And remember, focus is a function as well. So you have focus ref dot current dot focus. All right, it's going to say focus on that input, which is stored in the useRef. Okay. So when I click this, you'll notice it turns green. I'm focused in, so now I can start typing. All right. Very simple. most common way that the useRef is used is to reference a something within the DOM. Okay, it's direct access to the DOM. That's another way of looking at it. Okay. To talk about another aspect of the useRef hook, and this is one that I've just recently worked on and found out sort of somewhat in a way for myself. So we'll talk more about it. So let's say I wanted to. I'm going to get rid of this. Let's say I wanted to keep track of how many times this re-renders. Okay, so start by showing the output, make a div, say rendered, I'll say num renders. All right, we're going to make it to a, all right, we'll use times. Okay. Okay. And probably most likely you would think, let's use state. So we'll add a num renders, we'll set num renders equal use state. We'll start off with 0. Okay. And then in order to change it, we'll use a useEffect hook. All right. All right, and you would think we do something like set num renders to num renders plus 1. Okay. Right. Look at what's going on. We have a problem. Okay. So let's just get out of that real quick. All right. That's not good. We have an infinite loop. So why is that? That is because every time we change the state causes a re-render. So we've created an infinite loop. So how will we do it? We need to be able to store data but not have a re-render. And useRef is how we would do that. Okay? So let's start. Get rid of all that. Okay. I'm going to go use ref, give it a first thing of 0. Okay. I'm going to say num renders dot current equals num renders dot current, because remember everything's stored in that current key. Okay, and then we'll add 1. Okay. Still not working because we don't want num renders anymore. we want what's in numRenders dot current. Okay. So now we've rendered it 1 time, rendered it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Now we can do it. useRef allows us to store data without creating a re-render. That's important. I have a project where I was doing a lot in the use effect, and I had data, and I needed to save it outside of the use effect to be used in a component in the main function. Okay, but if I simply saved the data as state, every time what was going on in the effect re-rendered, I would lose that data. Okay, so it wasn't any good to me. So I would click on something, it would give this data, it would put it into the state up here, and then a re-render would happen because state changes, and it would go right back to the way it was. useRef allows me to store that data into a place outside of the function to be used other places without creating a re-render. Okay? Okay. Great stuff right there. All right. So that's all I have for this edition. Thank you. Bye-bye.